Have you ever wondered why there are so many people out in the world that seem to be so resilient no matter what adverse situation is being thrown at them? Yet when you think about yourself going through that, or when you've gone through adverse situations, you've absolutely crumbled to bits. Well, that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. The importance of resilience, what resilience is, the importance of resilience, and how with 3 key points you can become resilient too. So before I go into that, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, which is where I notify you of when I'm posting, which is generally every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I'm going to start today. Oh, by the way, get your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to ask you to think about a few questions, and you might want to use them as takeaways rather than doing them through the video. So get your pen and paper ready. So, but what I'm going to start today is with the definition. So exactly what is resilience? What does it actually mean? So here we go. Resilience is the capacity to recover from difficult events. It is your ability to withstand adversity and bounce back and grow despite life's downturns. It is a characteristic that one develops over time, and it is an uncanny ability to adapt well to trauma, adversity, tragedy, and threats. So I've just written down a few questions that I'm going to go through with you today. So we can really get to the grips of why there are people out there that are resilient. What does a resilient person look like? Myths about being resilient. And then obviously we go into the 3 key takeaways, the 3 key tools of what you can do to become a resilient person. So the first question I've written down that I wanted to share with you is, why is it that some people appear to be naturally resilient? Well, there's 2 answers to this. One is they've been able to create an awareness of who they are. They understand their patterns, they understand their triggers, they understand their emotions. They're aware of their environment that they're in, and they have been able to develop this awareness into becoming resilient. The second type of person is somebody that has, over time, through adversity and through being non-resilient, being able to develop these skills. And I'm one of these people, because I was never a resilient person. I was a complete opposite, and I used to let life just crumble around me when it was chucking me curveballs. So it's the ability. The second type of person is it's going through the experiences of what it feels like to be a non-resilient person. And in my own experience, it didn't feel good to feel out of control. So I, over time, developed the skills to become a resilient person. And like I said, I'll go into that a little bit further. So basically, the myths are that some people are just naturally aware of who they are through growing up, and they're aware of their patterns, and they're able to understand their environment, and also understand that being resilient actually does help them grow. And the second type of person, which was what I used to be, is somebody that has learned through skills, through trial and error, through knowing that actually that didn't make me feel good, that makes me feel better. So yeah, so that's that question. What I wanted to do is go through what a resilient person appears to be, as opposed to a non-resilient person. And again, I've written down some points that I just want to share with you. So what behaviors does a resilient person express to the outer world? And I emphasize outer world, that they're in control. They have 100% awareness of what is actually happening to them right there and then. And they have acceptance of the fact that life is going to chuck them curveballs. Life isn't going to be a smooth line. And they're aware that they need to be adaptable. They need to be flexible. The resilient person will look for the solutions as opposed to just focusing on the problem. And from my own perspective, when I see a resilient person, I see strength, I see courage, I see confidence, I see the ability to adapt. I see a trusted person, someone that you can trust to manage any situation that is being thrown at them. So when I think about a non-resilient person, and I'm using some of my experiences in this as well, from my past, not now, I see somebody that has complete lack of awareness of their environment and who they are, a lack of self-concept, a lack of the ability of being able to cope, that they emotionally react no matter what, where, who they're with. They just have, you know, if you can encompass it all, it's a lack of knowing, understanding who they are as a person, a lack of understanding their triggers and their patterns. They have a, oh my God, this shouldn't happen to me. Why is this happening to me kind of feeling? Whereas we think about the resilient person, it's right, okay, I get it. Life's chucked me another curveball. How am I going to manage this one? So it's completely different attitudes. A non-resilient person is completely inflexible and isn't accepting of change. And like I said earlier, it's a lack of self-concept. So they're the two kind of major differences between somebody that on the outer self, in the outer world, from a resilient side, the personality traits that they perceive to have, or basically they show the world that they have. And we also then have the non-resilient person and their lack of awareness and understanding of who they are. So my next question that I wanted to share with you is, what preconceived ideas do we have about resilient people? Now, this is really important because there are some people that, but just because they haven't got the skills yet to be resilient, can look at resilient people and think, my God, they must be built like the Iron Man or something, you know, RoboCop, you know, just keep going no matter what, have no feelings or emotions or understanding. And that's completely the opposite. A resilient person still feels, they still have emotions, they still have the anxieties and the stresses that non-resilient people have. They just have an ability to be able to, a coping mechanism, like they've created a space in their like a reservoir in their mind of being able to kind of park that at times to be able to continue to grow and to move forwards. Not letting it go, that's not what I mean. I just mean they're able to continue with life, knowing that what's going on in their world is there, but they can continue to move forwards. And it doesn't mean they don't have feelings. They'll still be stressed, they'll still have anxieties, but they just have an inbuilt through either something that they've had naturally, being completely aware of who they are and their patterns and triggers, or something that they've developed through being non-resilient to now being resilient. They've developed the skills, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel. They still feel like a non-resilient person. They're just able to manage that and cope with that. So that was really, really important, because it is really important, no matter what we're going through, to be able to feel those feelings. We don't want to shut them off. We just want to be able to learn how to manage it so we can still move forward with our lives. That's basically what being resilient is. It doesn't mean you're unemotional, that you don't care. It just means we've got the skills to be able to go, okay, this is happening, it's not good, but we can still move forwards with it. And like I said, I'll be sharing some key points on what you can do to become resilient. So why is it so important for our growth to become a resilient person? And again, I've written down some really key points here to take away with you. So why is it important for our growth to become a resilient person? It's important because it creates strength. It creates that ability to be able to cope under pressure. And for me, when I see people being able to do that, when they've been literally kind of chucked in the deep end and they're having things thrown at them left, right, and center, I see somebody that you can trust, somebody that is adaptable, somebody that is flexible, somebody that is strong, that is kind of inspirational. I still see that. That's the thoughts that come to my mind. Somebody that's quite inspirational as well. You know, enabling them to, being resilient enables you to be able to carry on with life without the adversity parts of what's happening in your world getting in the way of that. And, you know, Christ, you know, we've had lockdown. I mean, that's been pretty tough, and we've all had to be as resilient as we possibly can to get through that, knowing that it was completely out of our control, never knowing that there was going to be an end. So being resilient gives you the ability to start again. It's basically saying, okay, that's happened, didn't like it, what am I going to do? Plot twist, you know, and it's like, okay, we're going to change the trajectory of a few things. We're going to look at the solution. We're not just going to keep going down this problem based path. Hopefully that made sense. It's playing a significant role in the outcome. So being resilient is playing a significant role in the outcome of your psychological health. You know, dwelling on things can really, really cause damage to our mental well-being as well. So being a resilient person, again, it's not letting go of what's happened. It's being able to manage what has happened and still moving forwards, which over time really does help you psychologically. And you know, I've said this earlier, but for me, there is a huge element of trust that builds when you see somebody going through something that is pretty tough for them, but they're still going through, they're still moving forwards, they're not letting life's curveball or obstacle stop them from growing as a human being. So for me, I see that as trust as well. And when you think from, you know, business world perspective, you know, if your managers is looking at you and they're seeing that you're going through so much, but you're still performing and, you know, you're still achieving, like I said, you're still going to feel the things that are happening to you, but you're still able to grow and push forwards. You know, that's an amazing trait to have, an amazing trait to have. So this is the pen and paper time I said earlier at the beginning, to get your pen and papers ready. So I've got a couple of questions for you. So you can either pause the video or just write quickly. So the first question is, can you think of an example when you were not resilient? How did you feel about how you managed that situation? And the second question is, what about a situation when you were resilient? How does it feel looking back at that situation now? So they're the two questions. So I'm just going to give a couple of examples from me. So if I look at the when I was resilient, so most recently we had the 19th of December talk from Boris, who shut down Christmas. Or did he? Adapted Christmas for us, I guess. So I remember being delivered that news and I was brokenhearted. I was absolutely brokenhearted. I was so excited about spending a normal day with my family and I just broke down into pieces. And I probably felt like that. I probably cried for about an hour and then I talked to a few people. And then the following day, I woke up and I was just like, no, it's nearly Christmas. This is my most favorite time of the year. This is not happening to me. I'm not going to let this situation ruin my Christmas. And I literally bounced back. whilst I still had the upset in my mind of not being able to be with my family on Christmas Day, I was so excited. I was like, right, I'm going to cook my own meal. I'm going to arrange Zoom calls with my friends. I'm going to go and get the best champagne that I can get. And I literally made my Christmas Day incredible. And I didn't feel like there was lack or missing at all. It was just a wonderful day. So that is an example of being resilient. So I still felt my feelings. I spoke to somebody about how I was feeling, or my family about how I was feeling. And then I was able to bounce back and to create really actually one of the best Christmases. Actually, it was just brilliant. Really, really good. So when I think about when I was not resilient, so this was quite a long time ago, probably about 2012, and I'd split up from my boyfriend. And even though it was the right decision, my body just went into meltdown. I was having panic attacks. I literally let it affect me. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to speak to people. Obviously, I had to keep going to work. And work was supportive to a degree, obviously, but then it was like, come on, pick yourself up. And I found it so hard. The pain that I was holding on to was incredible. And like I said, I didn't want to go out. I'd go home and I didn't want to see or speak to anybody. And when I look back on that now, I just think I can't ever imagine being that person again. Because I've developed my resilience skills to be able to kind of go, okay, that's happened. I don't like it. It's not nice, but I'm going to still be able to move forward. But when I look back on that situation, I mean, it impacted me for such a long time. When I could have, if I'd had the skills of being a resilient person, then, oh my God, things would have been so much. I would have been right. Okay, this has happened. Let's go out with my friends. Let's go partying. Let's, let my hair down. Let's see if I can, maybe do something different at work, get something a bit more challenging to do to take my mind off things. I could have acted completely differently. So there's two different examples there from my experience anyway, of how I've been resilient and non-resilient. So have a think about that and think about how either have made you feel. So here we are. How can we become more resilient? How can we become more resilient? Well, there are three fairly straightforward skills, tools that you need. The first one is to ask yourself, again, you can use a pen and paper, what is your self-talk? How do you talk about yourself? When you think about the things that your mindset is telling you, is it saying that you're an amazing human being, or is it saying that you're a worthless piece of nothing? Is it saying that you're good enough at this and you're really liked, or is it saying that nobody likes you and, nothing ever works out for you? So really think about what your mindset is telling you. Think about it this way, have you ever seen a negative person focus on a solution? Have you ever seen a positive person focus on a problem? Exactly. So number one is think about your self-talk. We want to reframe those thoughts because when you're in a more positive state, you are more able to manage life and obstacles and curveballs that come your way. Number two, knowing that it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say, I'm struggling, but I still want to move forwards in life. I'm struggling and I need some help so I can move forwards in life. It's okay to speak to somebody. It's a bit like, so I had a situation probably a couple of months ago now, and I was waiting for a proposal for something. And I basically got a no. It wasn't because they didn't want me. It was because they'd changed their strategy. And that no came as a real shock to me because everything had been leading to a yes. And I was really shocked, and I was relying on this yes for lots of different things. So I didn't feel good about that. I felt quite upset about that. So I called my mum, and in my mindset, I gave myself about an hour. I gave myself an hour to feel sad, to feel upset about the outcome not going the way I wanted it to go. And I spoke to my mum. She gave me some great advice. And once I'd finished talking to my mum, so like it was probably about an hour, I was like, right, okay, plot twist. What am I going to do now? What are the solutions to this? What is it that I can focus on to not change a situation, because I couldn't change that specific situation, but so I could create something new. So it's okay to not be okay. If you need to speak to somebody, you know, a family member, somebody that you trust at work, your boss, a therapist. You know, if you work in the corporate world, I know that they have amazing well-being packages where you can just phone up people and talk to. And I think you can get, sometimes they offer free sessions as well. So it's okay if you need to talk to somebody, because that will really help you manage life so you can continue to move forwards. So that's point 2. Point 3 is only focus on what you can control. Only focus on what you can control. So let's use lockdown as an example. So with lockdown, we do now, but we didn't know when it's going to end. We didn't know how long we were going to be in lockdown for. We didn't know what that meant from work. We just didn't know. We just didn't know anything. So it was completely out of our control. So there's 2 ways that people could have dealt with that. One is completely got overwhelmed and crumbled. Or, which actually, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of us that did for a time, or they could have looked at the situation and right, okay, I can't control this. This is all down to the government now. And we have to do what they say. We don't know, we don't have a plan, we don't know how long this is going to go on for. What is available to me at this moment in time? What is available to me to be able to continue to move forward and to grow at this time? And, you know, for me, it was, okay, how am I going to work? Well, you know, at the time I was in the corporate world and we had, you know, IT, technology to keep us connected. And I was quite used to that anyway. I was used to working from home. So I was quite lucky in that respect. I was used to that. I was used to my own company. But what else was available to me? I became really creative. You know, and I'm still do things that are creative to kind of pass the time, I guess, for until the world does become a bit more normal and we can start going out more. So I basically use this to develop my creative skills. And, you know, like my Friday nights, I'm listening to Chris Moyles on the radio. It reminds me of being back on holiday. You know, I'll have some wine while I'm listening and dancing around. I've created little nightclubs in my kitchen. You know, I've done Zoom calls with dancing with my friends. I've done some bets on the races as well. You know, when the races have been on, the closed races, you know, it's, you know, gone for walks. I've increased my exercise regime, increased the yoga that I do. So lots of different things that I've done that I probably wouldn't have done before lockdown. So ask yourself, what is available to you right now? If it's something that's completely out of your control, what is available to you right now? And how do you want to feel, as opposed to how the situation is going to make you feel? So there we go. The 3 points. So we've discussed what resilience is, the importance of it, what a resilient and non-resilient person looks like, and the 3 key elements. So we've got watch your self-talk. Know that it's okay to not be okay and to reach out for a support system. And the final point, which I nearly forgot, was only focus on what you can control and think about what is available to you in that given moment. So there you have it. How to become a resilient person. If you want to know more about that, that's quite a condensed version of a talk that I'm going to be doing. So if you want to know more about that, then please get in touch. My contact details are down below. So take care, and I will see you soon.